Thank you, Marius. Now, one of the interesting topics in the Mountain West on the women's side is that San Diego State is still near the top of the conference standings, and this is despite the fact that the Aztecs lost Paris Johnson, Jessica Bradley in the post area. Now, we saw them play their crosstown rival San Diego just a couple of days ago, and they lost that game. But who and what has surprised you about San Diego State so far?
Well, I think the big question was this year, how are you going to replace those two guys in the middle, the two bigs in the middle, or women in the middle, I should say. And you're looking at two players that were 6'3" and 6'5". So the big question is, San Diego State's still going to come out and be a pressure team. They're going to pressure you with their guard play defensively. Who's going to hold down the fort in the middle? And I think this year that person is going to be Kalina Tutt. And her numbers aren't big, but when you watch her play and what she has to do in the middle, you see how valuable she is. Why don't we take a look at one of these clips?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and here, Kalina Tutt's right down here guarding the post player, the ball in the hands of Chilcott for San Diego. And there's going to be a screen on the ball as the play begins. And you see just a terrific job right here of Kalina Tutt guarding a bigger player, getting up over the top, putting pressure, and she's forcing basically the most difficult pass, which is a lob pass right here. So already just working hard. The ball gets reversed. She works hard to get around, again, up the lane against the post player. And look, there's a backdoor play. Again, I said that the guards are going to pressure. You see all of the white jerseys out here pressuring the basketball, pressuring their player, and rightfully so, San Diego goes backdoor. And what I want you to watch is Kalina Tutt, a great job of releasing, heading over, being in help side defense, and making the play happen. And the ball eventually gets dropped. And here, as this develops, she ends up getting a block. So a terrific play by Kalina Tutt of being active. And as you notice, she's all by herself there in the middle against a big for San Diego.
Yeah, she essentially becomes a one-person zone in the paint, having to guard her player and then also that player coming in for the backdoor cut.
Yeah, and essentially we're going to see the same thing in this second play right here. And this is where it's just so important to have somebody that's in a quarterback. The ball's in the hands of San Diego. Connor, who's just such a terrific point guard. And as we move forward in this play, you're going to see the ball reversed right here. And here's Tutt down low. And again, she's playing up the lane. And what I mean by up the lane is she's not playing beside her player where her player could flash in the middle and catch the ball easily, but she's playing up the lane, again, forcing the most difficult pass or forcing her player to cut back door. That's really important when you're playing in the post. So as the play develops, once again, as we pause it, pressure out here, pressuring the ball, and a white jersey pressuring. San Diego goes backdoor again, and guess who's there one more time to help but Kalina Tutt. A terrific rotation right there. She's very athletic at 6'2", and she's sort of played in the shadows, I think, of Paris Johnson and JB in the last few years and hasn't had very many opportunities. But Beth Burns calls her one of the most important and key players for her team to have success, and you can see why defensively. You look at her stats for the game against San Diego, no points, but 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and played 37 minutes. She's going to be on the floor, and she's going to make an impact defensively.
Yeah, you have to feel good for her because for the last 2 years, she's been named the team's most improved player, but she has played in those shadows. She's getting her opportunity. She started every game this year for them, and clearly Beth Burns is relying upon her to be one of the mainstays in that team.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think San Diego State is a team that's going to get better as they go along. This is a team, remember, with a lot of new pieces that have not played together. They're talented, but with Chelsea Hopkins, Courtney Clements in better shape this year, and everybody getting used to each other, I think they're going to get better as the season goes on.
Insightful as always. That's why you, Andrea, are a Hall of Famer. Let's send it back over to Marius.